Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. Happy Labor Day to all who are celebrating. Our show today is A Woman's Prerogative. I'm your host, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and our subject today is Leading with Heart, the power of thoughtfulness and giving. And if you're joining us for the first time, we want to just embrace everyone on all the various platforms, including E360 TV, YouTube, Zizzle TV, ROKU, and Amazon worldwide. Let's get the show started. If you've joined us before, you know that this is a panel show where we have various women from across the world joining us to discuss important topics. Our full-time panelist, Caroline.heward, is here. She's joining us from the United Kingdom, and she's known as the Harley Street stress expert. She helps you bust your stress. That's right. Let's bring her out. Hello.
I couldn't help but laugh on that one.
You never know what I'm going to say, right?
I don't know.
Caroline, it's lovely to see you today. How has your weekend been? Today's Monday, actually. I think it's still a weekend here in the States, but how's your weekend been?
Well, we had our bank holiday weekend last weekend, and it was just as big as your bank holiday weekend is. So, yes, it was very relaxing and very, very fun. You know, I got time to do things that I needed to do that in my normal week I wouldn't be able to do. So, yes, it's been really lovely catching up. That's what I would say it would be. And I'm glad that you've had a lovely bank holiday as well.
Every day is the same to me. It doesn't matter. But I'm just glad to be here. So we have a very special guest you've welcomed to the show. Before we bring her out, I'm going to spotlight you. Can you tell us a little bit, what does it mean busting your stress? Are you physically, hurting someone? I don't think so. What is the technique that you use?
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Well, I help people break through the patterns that create your everyday stress, whether it's physical, ache and pain, whether it's emotional, sadness, loneliness, heartache, whether it's mental, anxiety, depression, or stress, and whether it's behavioral. So if you're complaining about that relationship or somebody that is causing you grief at work, whatever it is that's causing your stress. Now, sometimes people say, I'm not stressed. And when they say that, in the next breath, they're turning around and saying they're not sleeping, they have a physical ache and pain, or they're complaining about somebody that they're in a friendship or relationship with, or somebody at work. And that's how the stress is manifesting in their life. And I help you break through the pattern that creates that stress using root cause therapy and chakra psychology. I've been working with chakra psychology since 2000, so that's over 2 decades. And it's a very simple process, and it helps you move into a space of inner peace and inner calm so that you feel more relaxed in your world and in your environment.
And you don't look a day over 30. You've certainly accomplished a lot in a short time. So kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Well, I'm excited to bring out our guest. We were chatting a little bit backstage, and Mindy is one of these people who really has made giving back a priority. And so it sounds like she is in a transitional phase in some ways, but she's a no-nonsense keynote speaker. She's an author, and she really is someone who believes that it's a commitment. It's actually a gift to be able to give back and help other people. Let us welcome to the show, Mindy Gibbins-KLEIN. Hello.
Hello, both of you, and hello, everybody watching and listening.
So nice to have you here. By the way, backstage and now you just have this beautiful smile, this radiant energy that I can just feel coming through. And I'm sure that that's what you bring into everything that you do. So when you think about, let's start with our topic today, leading with heart. You are leading with heart, and you have decided to make this an everyday cause. Can you tell us what was the catalyst that actually set you down this path?
Okay, thanks for that question. So I've always seen myself as a giving person, a caring person. My whole life, I've been a coach, too many years to count now. And one of the things that I noticed was I wasn't aware of my charitable giving. This was a rude awakening that happened to me during the pandemic. It's a long story, but basically there was a moment when I thought, over the years, my income has really gone up, but I don't think my giving has kept up. So many of us have heard of tithing, and there are other similar ideas in different religions, tzedakah, zakat, daswan, dana. The church and, institutions tend to suggest giving 10% of our income to charity. I knew I wasn't giving 10%, but I did a calculation. And I was shocked to see that it wasn't even 1% of my income. And that was just a huge wake-up call for me. Because, like I said, I see myself as a giving, caring person. And I started talking with people about it. And most people said, well, I haven't really thought about it. And I started begging them to think about it. And together with my team, I created a website. There's an app in the works. And all we're trying to do is ask people to take a look at their existing giving and then reflect on that and see if they would consider giving at least 1% of their income to charity of their choice. So I get drawn into all these conversations with people trying to sell me on their particular charity. But I know that most people are thoughtful at heart. Most people are caring, and they feel really great when they tap into that nature. So it is a simple concept. We're not a charity. I refuse to turn it into a charity with overheads, and I want all the money to go to where people want it to go. And there is a specific issue happening now, which we were talking about, and we can chat about that if you like. But I don't really mind where the money goes. I just think people deserve to know their giving number.
Excellent points. Thank you so much. We do have a comment from someone watching on YouTube. Thank you very much. Seraphim Shelley, hello. If we don't have income, how about giving 10% of our energy and time helping actual other people?
So that's fantastic. And if people do not have enough to live on, I'm not talking to them. So, I'm talking to them and saying, yes, please give of yourself, give of your time, your skills. There are a lot of people who do have enough discretionary income, and they can look at giving a percentage on a regular basis. So this is the key. A lot of people give a one-off donation, when their friend is running in a marathon or a sponsored bike ride or whatever, and they give, but they're not really aware of how much. And I've spoken to dozens of charities, including the hospices, the crisis that we were talking about, and they need real money every month. They have expenses and bills. So yes, absolutely, people volunteer their time. What I'm looking at is individuals and whether they will look, reach in their pocket and set up an automatic payment so that charities can know what money's coming in and they can budget.
Thank you, Mindy. And thank you, Seraphim, for the follow-up. Thank you. I agree. People with extra money should give more. Yes. Thank you very much. So I also agree with you, and I'm involved with various charities. So I do have a question. I'm going to come from the other perspective because we love to debate things here. And I'm going to start with Caroline. So what about the old adage, charity starts at home? Caroline?
Unmute.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I'm a firm believer in that, Dr. Jacalyn, because it is important to look after self first, especially in our current times when many people have lost their income or have lost their livelihoods or the way that they used to earn their money or how much they used to earn their money. And so it is important to fill your own cup up first and then to fill your family's cup and then expand from that. And it's surprising how much that if you give to yourself, how much you can actually give to others where you overspill. And I certainly have been giving a lot to my family in terms of being there for them in times of sickness and in times of challenge. And also I've in that same breath had to fill my own cup up because it is a family situation. And we have been supporting each other. And I didn't actually realize how important that was until my baby brother passed away in 2018. And I do iterate, it was my baby brother and it was the year before his 50th birthday. And so that really hit the family quite hard. And I was surprised at how we did come together and make everything work. Because as my mum said, you don't expect to be burying your youngest son. And that really made us come together in all sorts of ways, in ways that I never expected. And that was something that will really, really be an impact on me, because when there is sickness in the family, it changes how you respond to life, and it also changes how you respond to others.
Thank you, Caroline. I appreciate that as well. Mindy, would you like to comment on what Caroline shared?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we need to be aware of what we're doing, how we're behaving, and if things need to be sorted at home, that's the first place to look. So I absolutely agree. People have been talking to me about, which charity should I support? I'm not sure the big charities use the money in the right way, and all sorts of things that I personally don't get involved in. However, one thing I hear over and over is charity does begin at home, but it's good to look locally. So the small charities, your neighborhood, your local charities, that's a really good place to look to give time and money. They need both. And that way you're involved. If you can be involved in these charities on a local basis, you can actually see the results of your time and money. So it's rewarding. You're not just putting money into a black hole. Although I must admit, I do give a lot of money to the big charities, and I know in my heart that is helping. So, it's not one or the other. It's not good and bad. It's whatever touches your heart. But the local charities often get overlooked.
Yes, you're right. And I know from being on the board of the Crohn's Colitis Foundation that there is an entity monitoring how much of the donations actually go towards research and how it's all allocated. I can't remember what it is. But for the smaller entities, the smaller charities, they are having challenges. And when you think about hospice, I have to say, I really didn't know too much about it until my mother was dying, because we did hospice at home. But there are people there who assist, and it's a tough job. It's an exhausting job. It's just draining emotionally in so many ways. And your loved one is so vulnerable in many ways. So you want to make sure that people are being incentivized and compensated for their time and their energy, because it's hard work.
Can I just add to that? So the hospice crisis has totally absorbed my attention, my passion, my energy for the past 3 days since the report came out. I'll just make it very clear. I've been doing some videos and some calculations because I'm a business person, and the shortfall is 60 million pounds per year, which sounds like a big number. But so my brain said, well, that's 5 million per month, and there's 210 hospices in the UK, and therefore about 1,200 people could donate £20 per month each and meet that whole shortfall. So I try to make things simple. I'm trying not to oversimplify, and I'm definitely trying to speak with respect because it's up to people where they donate. But you mentioned hospice at home, and at least one hospice I know, they've just let go all their hospice at home staff due to lack of funding. And that just breaks my heart. And so I asked the woman who posted on my LinkedIn, and I said, how many were there and what's the average salary? And let's figure out how much money is needed and let's get them back. I mean, this is not a time to, tear our hair out, blame the government, shake our fists, and, perhaps the government money's not coming quick enough. So I really believe in the power of the individual, and a large group of individuals can solve a lot of problems.
I really respect the fact that not only you are an advocate, but you're a business person. And so you understand the fact that it's still running a business. It's dollars and cents, and it's reward, it's return on investment, etc. So let's talk a little bit about the website, giving1%.com. I'm going to bring it up. So maybe you can walk us through how that actually works for you to figure out what's your giving number.
Oh my gosh, you've got the website up. I'm so proud of this because, like I said, it was a moment, a defining moment, and not one I'm proud of when I saw my own giving number. And then I thought, okay, stop wallowing, do something about it. I increased some of my donations, started talking to people, began having conversations with charities. So don't click the find out button. You can scroll down, I think. But there's a nice video of me, or perhaps we're just looking. Yeah, there it is. So there's some information about giving, how good it feels, how a little bit can make a big difference. Then there's a video, and underneath is a magic formula. Keep going, which it's an anonymous formula, and it's very, very simple. Most people could do it on a calculator, but we ask them to put in their monthly income and enter the amount that they donate to charity. So anybody can do this. If you just scroll a tiny bit more, you'll see that there are two places. We've had 381 people fill in the information since the beginning of the year, which is a start. I'm always looking for more people to do this. And then it gives people their percentage. If you wanted, you could just do like a little test one with small numbers and enter that in. And, people can see how easy it is. And then they get a nice message from the website saying, well done, or you're on your way. And then there's a magic button under, oh, we're doing a little test. Fantastic.
Monthly income. I'm using 25,000. So what's a good number for monthly income?
Say 2,000, because that's very close to the average in the UK.
Okay. And monthly giving $50, 10?
Put 10. We know what it's going to come out at. So now when you press that button, 0.5%, which I have to admit was my figure. That's in the past. And I didn't feel proud of it. But then there's a lovely black button underneath that says, you know what, I commit to giving 1%. And it is as simple as that. People say, yeah, what's the purpose? What are you doing? What's in it for you? That's it. It's a calculator, and it's a place for people to reflect. So maybe it's too simple, but that's where my passion and energy are at the moment.
Congratulations. That's really admirable. I do have a question about what's considered to be charity, because others at home might be thinking this. So are religious donations considered charity, or is it separate?
And no, yeah, absolutely. Wherever somebody is giving money to help someone else. So, to feed people, house people, take care of sick people, look after animals, take care of the environment. I'm agnostic. I don't mind where people give. They're going to give to the causes that touch their hearts, right?
Yes, absolutely. Caroline, thoughts on the calculator?
Oh, I love it, especially as I'm not a real great mathematician. I would be on the calculator trying to work it out, not knowing what buttons to press. So I think it's amazing.
Oh, thanks.
And it's the kind of thing that I know that you would come up with easily because of your business background and your acumen in terms of the way that you run your publishing business and all the other things that you do.
I think numbers are our friend. I just think that, when I looked at the hospice situation every day, when a problem comes up, my head just tries to figure it out in numbers. What's the percentage? What's the amount? How much would solve this? And in this case, actually, there isn't a figure I have in mind. Well, I do. I want 10 million people to do the calculation and give 1%, because when they do, we will actually get back the $15 billion that was lost between the beginning of the pandemic and now. 15 billion is what charities have lost.
Huge number.
Yeah.
Mindy, again, congratulations. This is exceptional. Before we started the show, you had mentioned that this is really a passion of yours. And as such, you are moving away from some other projects and businesses that you were doing before. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, I sold one of my businesses nearly 3 years ago, and that freed up a lot of time and money. And it was something that I'd wanted to do to find a new home for that business. So I did that. And then I just gave myself time and space. So, what Caroline was saying earlier, it's so important to look after yourself, self-care and self-awareness. And I knew that having invested myself time and energy and sleepless nights for 16 years, I needed some time and space. And I had some family things going on as well, which, really took up a lot of my time. And I needed that space. So I was just coming out the other side this January. And that's when this launched. So it was really the perfect thing. Not to focus on something commercial for a change, just totally different energy. I've always given this kind of energy to my business, but in business, the bottom line and all that, the stakeholders need to be satisfied. But in this case, it is literally just a thoughtful project about thoughtful giving. And it's just so wonderful to focus most of my time and energy on this.
Amazing. Caroline, what would you like to share with Mindy?
You hearten me, Mindy. I've not caught up with you for a little while, and certainly lots of things have changed for lots of people. And in this time of our changed times, I've gone online and I've become a TV presenter with USA Global TV and Radio. And I never thought that I would do that. And it came out of that passion to do more, to help more, to educate more, and to be more for and reach more people. And who would have guessed that, TV online would have been the channel? And yet it became the channel that was recommended to me by one of my mentors. And I really am heartened by the fact that personal circumstances have made you move into a place where it's right for you. When my brother passed away in 2018, I got very involved in January in 2019 with a peace organization, because I wanted to do more work in terms of creating more peace. And to that end, I joined Universal Peace Federation, and I delivered their World Peace, their Meditation on International World Peace Day in 2019, in 2020, and in 21. And they've asked me to do it this year. I'm still sorting out how we do that and who we get involved with in terms of the project. And that didn't feel that it was a possibility or even on an agenda for me, because I wasn't online in this way. And it made me think out of the box. It made me think bigger, and it also made me update my technology. And I've never looked back. And I have had an upward climb with the technology, but I've never looked back, because I'm being more myself and more authentic now than perhaps I ever was. And I'm giving more of a legacy, leaving more of a legacy for people to get hold of how I work and to get my help through the videos and the help that I give online. So I totally agree with you. The changed times since the pandemic have made me reevaluate and have made me look differently and live differently. And I've also moved out of London too.
Thank you, Caroline, and congratulations to you as well. Mindy, my question for you is, when you're leading with your heart, when you're focused on others and continuously giving back, what do you do to protect your own heart and to set boundaries so that you're doing self-care?
It's funny, Dr. Jacalyn, I don't think of it that way. I maybe I'm being naive, but so far I haven't felt like my heart needs protection. I have a very, very, very strong foundation. Having grown up with high self-esteem, having trained with Tony Robbins and others, I've got a lot of resources. So maybe I'm doing it subconsciously, which doesn't help, because I'd prefer to spell it out for people. But I don't tend to think that way. I wake up every morning with a grateful heart, an open heart. I am here for people. I do my best work. I always aim high. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed with a lot of energy and positive energy. And I just share that wherever I can. I do have Fridays blocked off in my calendar, and I do have every single day on an ongoing basis chunks of time that's blocked off where people can't book meetings. And so that's a practical thing. And I just tend to be grateful for each day and be grateful about the decisions that I'm making.
Thank you for your transparency. And yes, I think having a good sense of self and high esteem is really key and important. And as you know, we provide global education here. So for our audience members who maybe are struggling with self-esteem and they're thinking, I don't know how I can help anyone else because I can hardly help myself, what would our resident in-house therapist, Caroline, say to those?
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Well, it's important to be in awareness of the fact that there's something not right. There's something that's not working for you, because that's the first step to solving the problems. If you are suffering low self-esteem, to be in a position of saying, yes, I am suffering low self-esteem, or I am suffering with anxiety, or I am feeling depressed. And I think that also it's important to know who the people are that you can reach out to and talk to know that when they pick up the phone, when you pick up the phone to them, they will have an ear, have an open ear to listen, because sometimes they don't need a resolution. They don't need you to solve their problem. They just need to be heard. And in that moment of being heard, emotions can be released. And it isn't something you said, it's something that you felt heard, you felt listened to, and that allows them to feel open in their emotions and feelings. And it's quite important to know that when you have found that person, to know that you can leave yourself being in a place of a confidant, that they will be discreet in what you share with them. So be careful when you choose that person, and know that they have your heart in theirs, and know that they care about you enough. And sometimes when you do reach out, it's not easy to say what's wrong. And sometimes if they ask you again, to feel it's okay, because in our Britishness, because I'm in England, we don't tend to say everything's not working. If somebody says, "How are you?" you will say, "I'm fine. I'm okay." That's our natural response. To be okay to say, "I'm not okay."
Thank you, therapist. We appreciate you. I want to move into another area that I think is in alignment with our conversation today. Here on this platform, we celebrate authors. We've got a few shows about authors and also business people who are using books, for example, as a calling card, as a way of being remembered. And Mindy, I know that you are also an author. And so when you think about the work that you've done, what you've shared through the written word, how is that in alignment with the power of thoughtfulness and giving?
Thank you. So yes, I've authored 15 books. But more importantly, the Book Midwife, which is my coaching company, has trained 1,000 other authors. So if you don't mind, I'll answer for that, because one of the important things that people ask me all the time is, should I write a thought leadership book, or should I write a book that's a marketing tool, or and my view is every book has the opportunity to be a thought leadership book. So I always feel a bit sad when people say, I'm going to write a book and it's going to be a business card, or it's going to be a lead magnet. It may be those things, but what about if we aim higher? What about if it can also be something really important? I'll use the word legacy that Caroline used. What if it's possible that book can take you so far and really impress people? So thoughtful leadership is the phrase that I use all the time, and the brand is the Thoughtful Leader. So between the Thoughtful Leader and the Book Midwife, I'm encouraging people, yes, to write a book about their expertise and their experience, but aim high to be a thought leader, and even higher to be a thoughtful leader. And then they really can help a lot more people than just slapping something together. Because, it's not just about having a book. I think it's about having a book that you're proud of, and a book that really helps people to make changes in their lives.
Thank you. I agree with you. And we do have book coaches on staff here as well, helping some of our team members write their books, get their message out. Question I have, because I think this is also in alignment, your branding for your website. How did you come up with this branding, and specifically the color combination?
Well, this is based on The Thoughtful Leader, which was my second book on thought leadership. Came out in 2015. So I thought I better have some consistency, because the Book Midwife branding is blue and I've got all kinds of colors going on. But I thought, red, it's kind of scary for me, because I don't see myself as somebody, who, I don't wear a lot of red, and I haven't got this kind of red personality. But I thought, no, but it's important to get people's attention, and then we can have a discussion about being thoughtful. So it was, I must admit, it was our designer of the Thoughtful Leader who came up with several different options, colorways, and we chose that one, the red and the yellow, way back when. And so I've stuck with that.
It's very memorable. Looks great.
Thank you.
And we also have here that you are a travel addict. Where is it you like to travel to?
Well, I go back to the US 6 or 7 times a year, because I have family in New York. So my mother's in Connecticut. My sisters are in New York and Connecticut. My nephews are in Connecticut and New York. Anyway, I have family back there in New York area. And I've just relaunched a project that I was doing before the pandemic, which had to go on hold. It's called the Thoughtful Leaders Club. So it is an actual in-person club, and I go back to run 7 or 8 lunches per year. And the rest of the time I'm supporting the members online. It's rewarding for me. And so I kind of have a foot in each camp, well, each region. And Yeah. So where else am I going? Oh my goodness, we're going to Malta for the first time this month. Where else are we going? I think we've got a few trips planned for next year: Egypt, Japan, New Zealand for the first time. So yeah, I love my travel.
That's
Woohoo.
exciting. I love it.
I know it sounds bad when I say it. I'm like, really?
No, it sounds exciting and very rewarding, gratifying.
Yeah. Well, I love it. And, there've been times in the past when I was building the business and I didn't have a lot of disposable income, and, travel was a real luxury. And now that I'm, what you could call it, semi-retired or whatever, I'm very grateful to be in this position and, making up for lost time.
Woohoo. I love it.
I love it too. Caroline, have you been traveling?
Well, I did when I had tons of money coming in, and I did a lot of my travel in America in terms of my training. I never considered that it was a real heavy duty cost. It was an investment. And so I did a lot of training in America. I spent time in the Bahamas for almost a month. I used to go to Tampa quite a lot and trained with Topher Morrison. I spent time in Daytona and Florida, and it seemed to be my calling. I always went back to America. And then in 2007, something changed. A lot of the people that I was training with and that I was aligned with, the Americans in particular, they were coming to the UK. So I landed up training with them in the UK from 2007, 8, 9, and 10, and then still going back to America for some of the other trainings. But America seemed to be a big calling for me. So it's not surprising in some strange kind of way that I'm here on USA Global TV and Radio. It's like I always meant to go over there, and that's maybe why we got aligned, because there was something in you about the fact that you've had those ties in America that made me feel, you're very in tune, you're very authentic in what you do. And in the time that I've known you, over 2 decades I've known you, it's been a long time. I've watched you grow, change, and I've watched you build the business and transform. It's been absolutely beautiful to watch as a journey.
Who are you talking to?
Well,
I thought you were talking to Jacalyn. But we've known each other for 2 decades as well.
Yeah. You 2 decades, Mindy. Sorry. With Dr. Jacalyn, it's been since 2021, hasn't it? So it's been 3 years. And I'm now the resident therapist.
Well, my friends, we are actually at the end of our show. So, Mindy, I'd like to ask you, what would you like to share that I haven't asked you or we haven't chatted about so far?
Oh my gosh, we've chatted about everything I hoped we'd chat about. What do I want to share? I want to share the fact that I've said it before about 20 minutes ago. People feel really great when they know that they're being their best selves, when they're being thoughtful, when they're being kind, when they're, doing something for others. So whatever it is, to take time and reflect. I'm speaking to our viewers and listeners now. Just give yourself a moment, pat yourself on the back for things that you're already doing to be thoughtful and to help others. If you would like to go to giving1%.com, that would be a great thing you could do for me to help spread the word. Whether you do the calculation or not, we are aiming high to get millions of people to just do the calculation and reflect and know their number. And I think that in itself gives people a sense of pride, and that's a gift. It's my gift to you.
All right, we do have the website information up. It's www.giving, G-I-V-I-N-G, the number 1%, PERCENT.com. Thank you very much. All right, Caroline, what would you like to share as we close out today?
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. I'd like to share something that's really, really important in terms of being able to bring more into your life. And that is to go into a state of gratitude. when you step into a state of gratitude, the altitude of gratitude is a very high vibration. It's a heart vibration. And when you are grateful for something, you will bring more of what you are grateful for into your life. So what is it that you're grateful for? And if you start with that practice in the morning, it can be something as I'm grateful to be alive and waking up in this glorious sunshine. It can be I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my clients. It can be very small, or it can be very grand. But the more you say thank you and the more that you show gratitude and express that gratitude, the more that comes back into your life. So be grateful in that space of bringing more that you want into your life by expressing the attitude of gratitude.
The attitude of gratitude, bust your stress with Caroline.Heward. Choked up now. All right. Well, thank you both for being here. I really do appreciate it, and look forward to catching up with each of you separately later. Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye. Now, who's producing this show? Okay. Mindy, thank you again. We'll see you in the future.
Okay.
Please come back on this show or any of our other ones. Bye-bye. All right, everyone. I hope wherever you are, you're having a beautiful day, evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much. Please do subscribe to our channels, USA Global TV and Radio and Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck on YouTube. And also, please do be kind to yourself and to others. When you can give anything in the world, why not give the gift of kindness? All right, we are signing off for right now. We are now live streaming 7 days a week. We've got a number of new programs. Check us out on our website, check us out on our YouTube channels, and check us out on all the other platforms. Thank you to E360 TV viewers, and thank you to all the podcast platforms where people are listening to our programs. Bye for now.